What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Fire for Effect Live. 5 April? Holy shit. It's Easter this weekend. We'll make some jokes about that in a bit. Yeah. Let's turn on all the things. Bear with me. I'm back in Pilsner country after a nice trip to Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the center of the known universe, for Ryan Lindley's Getting Sauce podcast, food truck takeover. There's Jen, my only fan. No, there'll be more coming. We had a good time. I'll get into that in a bit. And we'll talk about the food truck takeover. The Crier Media team was there. A ton of super fans showed up. A ton of normal fans showed up. A lot of guys that are connected to the media industry in Toronto showed up, which is going to launch some new projects that are coming up for me potentially, which we'll talk about in a bit. We're going to talk about what the fuck else? Well, a couple other things. The new Canadian Housing Allowance thing, which is all fucked up, but we might get to it for a bit. And then I'm going to cap it off with a sensitive subject. I'm a big Kid Rock fan, as most of you know that are watching or listening. And he said some shit that I'm clearly not aligned with this week. And then there's a military tie into that. So let's bring the fucking boys in. JT has no video. Ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Rocketeer, Mr. Morgan Warren.
On time, on target, as usual.
On time, on target. And Mr. JT Ferris, KP Fevis is here. Why is your video so shitty? It looks like you're from the fucking 80s. You got no audio now. You're just a mess.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You sound great, which is all that matters. No one cares what you look like.
Okay.
Bryce Hooper is getting a haircut, which I find fucking weird. Like, he just looks like a guy that does not get haircuts, you know? Kind of unkempt and disheveled. You know what I mean? He might be watching this, so I shouldn't shit on him that much. How was your weekend?
Good. No complaints.
What did you do? Did you do anything productive? Fuck, I did.
Just essentially, I'm getting into the spring cleaning, so trying to get rid of a lot of old kid shit. And, you know, as soon as the snow melts, for some reason, there's like garbage came from nowhere. And not a lot now, but just going around my yard, picking up some shit that's blown in over the winter.
This city, I love this city, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. But in the spring, it is not like TV spring or movie spring. It's
ugly spring.
It's ugly as shit. The trees are dead. There's garbage everywhere for some reason.
Yeah,
my fucking lawn still looks like Kandahar. It's just like, fuck, man. Why? When does green happen? So when I was in Toronto, I know we're gonna get to that in a bit. Friday night, which would have been April 1st, they had this fucking massive light show, like huge thunderstorm. Piss and rain like you would not believe. I was like, holy shit, you will not see this in Berta till like New York's bombastic rap collective. What the fuck is that?
As a token, is like my verse.
Well, never mind.
Buddy,
that was me.
You're that guy. You're being Tango Golf tonight.
Totally.
I'm not editing that out, man.
All right.
Anyway, huge light show. Fucking tons of rain. Shit we will not see till May. Danielle, I did not see you this weekend. Where the fuck were you? Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was a really good trip. We'll also talk about my airline review of Porter Airlines, and it's a good review. I'm gonna let the secret out now. Fucking spoiler alert. Despite what I've read online prior to flying with them, we got a lot of shit done. So what it was Ryan Lindley. He's a good friend of mine, good dude. He's got a new pod coming out, and this will be the launch. I'm in the editing process right now. I filmed like a fucking ton of footage, just ran around like a wild man. I made a shot list. We planned it this time. It wasn't like Niagara, which was kind of fucking freestyle. Didn't have as much time when we did the Niagara thing, so I had a lot more time this time to like actually work with Ryan and Ray Rout, who I'll talk about in a bit. These guys are not interested. They're just fucking ditching me. They're all gone black. Fuck you guys then.
I'm I'm back.
You're back. Hang on, I'll bring you back in
Yeah.
then. I got a lot of footage and actually storyboarded it and did something that us in the military call planning. So it wasn't run and gun freestyling. And now I got all this shit and I got to edit it. So again, going back, Ryan, he wants to get away from the political bullshit. And I know if for anybody that watches Dean Blundell on Dean's show, which is Power Crier Media, we're trying to navigate away from the fucking Chris Guy, Jordan Peterson, insert who gives a fuck here type shit. And I don't know, tell different stories. And Ryan kind of took the lead on that. So his new podcast is called Getting Sauced, episode 1. There's a bunch of micro content out on Twitter and Instagram for it. Ryan is an exceptionally fucking good cook. Really good. His brother-in-law, Chris Morrison, is an executive chef. And I just picked this guy's brain for like 3 fucking days. All we talked about was food. And we did a lot of fucking drinking too. Let's bring him back in. Do you got your technical shit sorted out? This is why we come on early. This is shit content, man. People are watching this. So it was good. And there's a place in Toronto called Cheese Boutique. And this fucking place, boys, when you'll see the footage when I get it all done, is if you're a food guy, it's fucking Disneyland, man. And it's like one-stop shop. If you wanted to make a nice high-end dope meal for your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, you could go to that place and get everything. Ben Affleck stores his cheese there. I saw the Batman cheese, JT. You could get behind this. I saw Batman's big fucking log of cheese, man. $1 million worth of cheese in there. And they've got A5 Wagyu, their own dry aging room, fresh produce. The gentleman that owns it, Afram, and his family, it's family-run business, 52 years old. The business is, and it's fucking mind-blowing. Like I had to take a minute. I got a private tour the night before while we were doing food prep. And yeah, I was off the chain. So they have a food truck. This is a really neat idea because there's about a fucking million food trucks sitting around Edmonton doing nothing. They don't take it out anywhere. What they do is rent it out, whore it out basically to anybody that wants to have a food truck for a weekend for a fundraiser or an event, right? And it doesn't go anywhere because it sits in their lot, and it does 2 things. It lets you say Morgan, you wanted to have a food truck for Sniper Awareness Week. Is that a thing? It should be. You can rent it out, sell your burgers and shit out of there, and because it's on location, and they own the whole block. Like they got something called the Bottega, where they sell high-end cookware. There's a bakery in there with unbelievable baked goods, fucking the best cappuccino I've ever had. And then down the road is the actual boutique itself that has all the food. So you can rent that out, and then they get business from it. So it's a fucking great business model. It's really cool. So we had a good time. I had a really good time. And Ryan put a menu together. It was a great turnout. I met a bunch of people from Crier I hadn't met before. Other than myself, Ryan was obviously there. Ryan's lovely wife, Ashley Lindley. Okay, Mrs. Lindley was there, and she was killing it behind the counter, doing food prep. Chef Chris Morrison was there, banging out the burgers, the Hogtown slider, which is a pea meal back bacon, these garlic parmesan fries, and Ryan was also flogging. And I'm very fortunate to have this. His own spice rub, the Ryan Lindley's Getting Sauced steak and burger rub that was specific for this food truck. And this isn't some shit that he threw his own label on. I sat in his house and watched him fucking make this stuff. Okay, so he's made his blend, and then he packaged it. I was watching him fucking take this massive bag of premix that he had made and watched him make another bag of it and load these things in his kitchen with a heat gun while Ashley was making the best pecan butter tarts you ever ate in your life. It's fucking dope. And I rolled tape, and here's an example. Here's a little sample footage which is going to be like an hour and a half long video. So let's have a look. That's my man, Ray. Cool dude. We'll get to him. So he was there. Ray Rout, who's director of communications for the hell's it called? Jobskills.org. It's a job skills thing. He's got his own pod. He's a sports guru. He's an NFL fucking expert. He handles all the sports type stuff for Crier Media, but he's also changing his direction to get into more life skills, job skills type stuff. And I can't even count how many fucking pods he's either on or either has. Dean Blundell was there. Here's a fucking clip with Dean and Ray.
I'm nervous, Ray.
You should be nervous.
I didn't know you'd be here.
Getting...
I'm nervous because you're so famous. And you fucking... No, we're still going. You leave this. Don't you fucking cut this. I'm nervous to be around you, Ray, because you're a fucking scary dude. And you're famous.
You can call that a fucking outtake, man. But we had a lot of fun. Ray handled all the interviews because Ryan was busy, shaking hands, kissing babies, and taking fucking food orders. And I just ran around like a wild man with a camera. It was a lot of fun. So, yeah, that was that weekend. The flight there, let's get into that. Well, I'll tell you what. I hate airports. I hate flying. I hate people. Like lots of people I don't know around me for a lot of different reasons. I flew on Porter. You guys ever fly Porter? Probably not.
Negative.
Yeah, so they're not new, but they're new out here. And
it's big on the East Coast.
It's big on the East Coast. They fly like out of Boston, New York, into the States and up into Canada and around Eastern Canada and shit. And they only have 2 seats per side, so there's no middle seat. So that's one of the things they sell. They're kind of small. Like you might want to fucking upgrade to the better seats. But they give you free beer, and it's a good craft beer. It's not some shit beer. JT, you're a craft beer guy. You'd fucking dig it. And free food, and not crap food. It was like good. Like you get a decent sized little mini meal.
How much was the ticket compared to like a standard?
It was fucking cheaper than everybody else, man. So like it was actually the cheapest ticket. It was $600 to fly to Toronto, return, and obviously we get it, our own check bags and shit covered because we're military dudes. So that wasn't a big deal. But it's not like Swoop or Flair, and I'm not shitting on those airlines. They are what they are. Yeah. Where you get nickeled and dimed for every fucking thing, especially civvies. Well, this bag costs this bag costs that. They do charge for that if you get it for baggage. So it's kind of a discount airline, but it's like not really because they give you free fucking beer and free food. I wasn't hammering on the button, bring me a beer, I'm going to get fucked up. But I had 2 beers in 3 hours, which was good enough. Who the fuck is that? Some dick just fucking rang my doorbell. Clearly did not ring the fucking sign. Hang on a second. You guys are going to like this. This is live. I'm going to fucking answer the doorbell.
Okay.
And just shit on this person. Read the fucking sign. Unfucking-believable. I apologize. You can't fucking read? Don't ring the doorbell. So everybody's listening or watching at this fucking giant sign on my window. Do not ring or knock. Recording in progress. I'll get back to you in 30 minutes. She's probably going to key my truck. Thank God I got that ceramic coating. Fucking, Anyway, this is why I don't like people. I like all the fans that came out this weekend. I want to thank you guys very much. Darren Cunningham brought me a Pilsner because you can't get Pilsner in Ontario. That is not true. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Darren brought me one, and he got me this dope koozie. It's a Moosehead koozie, but it's fucking cool.
That is pretty cool. I like Moosehead beer.
I do too.
Yeah.
Jen Super fan, mate. She's a cross stitcher. I'm not sure if she's a grandmother or not. I don't know if you guys can see this. It says
Nice.
Army slut, cross stitch, very cool. She made one for Ryan that said food truck slut. Yeah, I'm all thrown off now because that fucking stupid bitch fucking just rang my doorbell. Anyway, we can move on. Yeah, great weekend. I'm still editing. I will have that thing out, hopefully done by next week. I got another project coming up, boys. There's some Afghan former interpreters that are cooking a meal. Did you guys hear about this?
Yeah, Bryce has told me, but a few other guys told me.
Okay, so they're doing it's a bunch of Afghan interpreters that are now back in Canada. Sorry, guys, I'll get to your comments when I can.
Yeah, one second.
And this is kind of near and dear to my heart. So it's all these Afghans that made it out of Afghanistan that were interpreters for us, and they want to cook us a meal, a traditional Afghan meal at the Veterans Association Food Bank to thank us. I'm like, fuck, wow, thank you. Because without those people, we would have been fucked. We would have not been able to do our job. So I'm totally going to roll tape on this. I talked to Mike Rude, who's kind of coordinating all this shit. I'm going down to the food bank tomorrow at 1400. That's 2:00 for you civvies to meet the chefs, the cooks, and kind of talk about, how we're going to do it. It's the middle of Ramadan, which is a big religious holiday for them. And I'm probably going to go have tea with them like next week somewhere where these guys get together for tea. So that's going to be fucking cool, man. I'm pretty pumped about that. JT, you should come down. Morgan, you should come down. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that's why I need that projector, man, because they want to do a slideshow. Yeah. So they're going to help me do this pod. Dave Rhino is probably going to come out and do some still photos. Sorry, not pod. I'm going to make like a mini doc out of this, like a fucking real mini doc, and interview these guys and actually do the shit that I've been wanting to do. So it's going to be.
What's the date on that one again, Chris?
The 13th. So it's a Thursday because I don't know why it's a Thursday. Oh, no, the food bank's got a food drive, like a basket run or whatever, a hamper run on the Saturday.
Yeah.
So these dudes are coming on Thursday the 13th. It'll be in the evening. So, yeah, man, if you want to come down and give me a hand with lighting and all the other shit, that would be really appreciated. It's going to be fucking cool to hear their story, talk to these guys that helped us do our job in Afghanistan and put their own personal lives at fucking huge risk. All right. So if I didn't say this before, it feels like I have. Well, I might have been loaded telling somebody else. Every day we did our jobs over there, we typically would end up back in a FOB, a forward operating base, or some kind of secure camp, right? We rolled around with fucking weapons, and all the guys with us had weapons. We were armed to the fucking nuts. And our interpreters, which were all locals, didn't have the luxury that we did. They weren't armed. We went back into our little fucking camps with our big walls, with dudes on the wall, with machine guns pointing out. And these guys had to go back to their homes. And the Taliban was actively hunting these cats and killed a lot of them. A lot of interpreters or a lot of local national employees were killed over there by the Taliban. Okay, I know a few personally that after I left that worked at Camp Nathan Smith, where I was stationed out of or based out of, whatever you want to call it. A lot of those people were killed. So everybody read the news. You know what happened last year. Fucking, it's an honor for me to meet these people. It's almost embarrassing that they want to thank us and cook for us. It's like those fucking people took a huge risk to do the job they do so that we could do ours. So I can't thank them enough. So it's a fucking big deal to me to capture that. JT's got technical problems, just killing the flow with this, buddy. I'm gonna bounce you out because if you don't get your shit tight, you're not gonna be on here. Sorry, we're having technical difficulties. Oh, there's Jen right now. While we're waiting, grannies don't slut stitch. That's fair. That's fair. Thank you so much, Jen, for that. I really appreciate it. It's cool. It's right there. You can see it behind me, sitting by my stuff. Yeah, so that's what we're doing next week. It's going to be cool. I got to go meet the guys tomorrow too. It's going to be great. See what they got going on, set up, and see if I can talk to them and interview them. It'd be really cool to hear their stories.
Yeah, I was tracking that a while ago. I think it was through like Bryce or like Michael Charlish, and I got an invite to go. It's Trina's going to Mexico that day or some damn thing. So I got to just get somebody. Yeah, I got the kids, but I can probably get Grandpa or somebody to look after the kids for an evening or something, right? But we'll see. I really want to go.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. No, it's going to be good. I'm pumped up. I'm going to get to do like my first real doc that's not chasing a podcast. Like the shit for Ryan's going to be awesome to do, but it's going to be upbeat, rated, a bunch of interviews. You know, and it's all filming the activity to promote Ryan's pod, but this is going in the direction I want to go with. And it's to actually do like a mini fucking documentary. And it's obviously something near and dear to our heart. So that's going to be good. So anyway, back to, I'm all over the fucking board here. Apologize to everybody. I'm trying to do 28 things at once. Porter Airlines, good to go. Fly them. They're cheap. Get the extra leg room. You get free beer. They got a lot of shitty reviews on TripAdvisor. Everybody's pissing and moaning about airlines. I get it. COVID fucked things up. Airlines are struggling just like the restaurants that you're bitching about because, well, why does the food cost so much? Oh, I don't know. Because they were closed forever. Then they ran at 50% capacity. Then they had to fucking buy all this sanitary shit for their staff. You know, print off paper menus. Do the fucking math. Airlines are in the same boat. No planes were in the air forever. Right? So shut the fuck up. I did lose my luggage. It was irritating. Now let's talk about that. There we go. Kathleen says Porter is the best.
I think like a lot of people's big complaint is not so much like the price of things or even the fact that you're getting nickel and dime, I guess. So, I mean, you can still bitch about it, but I think it's the poor service people have been receiving and just everything is backed up. And I get it. COVID, cool.
Yeah.
But like, this isn't the time you had to organize a flight or you had to fly people somewhere. Like, give me a fucking break, right?
No, you're not wrong. But I mean, I could tell you hand on my heart that from fucking start to finish,
yeah,
the people at the desk were polite.
Yeah.
Right when I checked in, showed them my ID. They checked my bag. Boom, boom, boom. Buddy put fragile stickers over it because I had $5,000 worth of camera gear, which didn't make it back to Edmonton, but we'll come to that. I have it now. Cat's out of the bag. The onboard crew was very polite, you know. And the fuck more do you want? They weren't rude. They got me to where I needed to go. Flight wasn't canceled. I know flights get canceled and people are all pissed off. Or you read, they were rude. The flight was canceled. 2 stars. Service was shit. Blah, blah, blah. I thought they were fucking great. I'll fly them again next time I got to go out there, which probably will be in the fall. There's another thing coming up. Big secret. There you go. So I didn't have a fucking problem with them.
No. For me, like if things get like fucked up, like I don't mind. If you know, I get it. Life happens. It all depends on like how that service provider, whether we're at a restaurant or whether you know you're flying, like how like as what they do to sort the issue out. Like if they just fuck you off, well then I'm like, well, you know, this is unacceptable. But I understand, you know, mistakes happen. If people are polite and they're like, listen, we're doing what we can, and that's all I ask for, right?
Yeah. I mean, I got to Pearson, my luggage was there. Coming back, okay. You know, I put a fucking Twitter poll out about before I left. This is before I left. Are you confident in airlines to get your luggage to where you, something words to that effect. Yeah. Some of you guys might have seen it. And it was a resounding, there was, you know, 3 choices, yes, no, or B, I try not to fly anymore. You know, a humorous response. And it was a resounding no. Well, okay. I land in Edmonton. I go out, have my quick dart, run back to the carousel. All the shit's coming out. You're waiting. It's thinning out. There's like always those 3 or 4 random bags that nobody came to fucking get for some reason that are kicking around. And my shit's not there. I'm losing my fucking mind. I got $5,000 worth of camera gear in this bag. It's all protected and everything, and it's not there. Porter doesn't have like a missing baggage thing. You got to go upstairs, but they do have an online thing. So you fill out all the shit online and you submit it and blah blah blah. Well, nothing was going on with that. So this is now the next day, right? It was yesterday. I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm stressed out. Like 90, it's not even the monetary value. It's not the $5,000 worth of shit that was in that bag out of about the 10 grand worth of gear that I own all in. It literally represented 90% of my usable functional field gear. 2 camera bodies, all my Rockstar lenses, blah, blah, blah. My gimbal, fucking the list goes on. And I'm like, I'm fucked. I got 1 camera body left with 2 lenses that are not the best for what I want to do, next week with this Afghan thing. So I'm fucking like bummed out, man. Now we'll get into some travel tips for you kids out there. But before we get to that, I get a phone call yesterday at like, I don't know, it was like 4:00 and it was Porter. And the guy was cool and he goes, hey, verifies my name and shit. And yeah, we got your bag here. What's your address? We'll deliver it tonight. But he wasn't tracking on my my online thing. There was a disconnect with it. So that's something they need to work out. But at the end of the day, the fucking guy, as soon as he had my bag, phoned me immediately and said, we got your shit. A guy dropped it off that night. I had it by like 6:00. All my stuff was good to go. It wasn't beat up, wasn't damaged. It was like, thank fuck. So what did I learn from that? A couple things. One, if you have expensive shit when you travel, insure it separately because your fucking credit card's not covering it. I have the Visa Avion thing. That covers accident insurance on a rental car. That covers if some fuckhead breaks into my hotel and steals my shit. Up to a maximum of $2,400, which is or $2,500. Porter Airlines, I don't know about the rest of them, will cover up to $2,400 max. Well, I got $5,000 worth of shit in there. I know guys that are divers or whatever, or imagine like Morgan, if you were going to a fucking do a competition shoot and had to pack up your own guns and ship them, you would not be covered that unless you insure that shit separately.
Yeah.
So like get insurance, people. If you have expensive fucking shit, protect it properly because the airline is not going to cover anything more than $2,400. Number 2, I just ordered a bunch of air tags, which I should have before, a 4-pack of air tags. So throw an air tag in your luggage. You can track where your shit is. You can put one on your buddy Dave when he fucks off and you never know where he is, which is what I'm going to do. On your fob for your bike, your car, whatever. So I ordered air tags for like fucking $30 on Amazon. Yeah. And I probably should have carried all my fucking Gucci gear in the camera travel bag with me. So I fucked up a lot of things. But shout out to Porter. I got my shit back. I'm happy. If you got a fucking air disaster experience, thank you, Tara. Oh, I got to meet Tara finally. Tara Graves from the TNT podcast. Too bad Tina couldn't make it up. It was cool. I met all kinds of fans. And it was so weird meeting fans. Fucking Darren had me sign his hat. I never signed an autograph in my life. It was fucking weird, man. But lots of good people. And I got this dope koozie. Okay. So that covers that shit. Let's talk about, I'm going to let you talk about this. The Canadian Forces housing allowance. So for those of you paying attention to the budget and all the wonderful things that Justin Trudeau is doing for us this year with carbon taxes and taxes and taxes on taxes and taxes, the Canadian Armed Forces has come out with a new housing program. So the previous one was called PLD, Post Living Differential Allowance. And you get that right now, right?
Yes. In Edmonton, it's taxable allowance, and currently in Edmonton it is $684 a month taxable.
Right.
That's for everybody. That's whether you're living in a PMQ or you're living off base or you're living in shacks.
Yep. Doesn't matter what rank you are. It's not tied to housing. No. It's just tied to cost of living.
It's not tied to the cost of living. It's tied predominantly to like the price of houses.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For the post living differential was because it was tied to like it was based on like real estate.
Okay, I thought it was based on.
No, because I mean we've been collecting like post living differential now for better part of a decade.
Oh
Right?
no, it's not a new thing. Yeah,
No.
I mean, okay, it's relatively not a new thing.
Well, yeah, I guess. Okay.
I just made an assumption it was tied to how they determine the cost of living. Irrelevant, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All that matters is everybody got it. And now, and it depended on where you lived. It was a different amount. I think Ottawa was always zero line. Ottawa was zero. And
Essentially.
then it went up or down, fucking whatever. JT, that was dead air. People listening aren't going to like that. Tell us when you're ready.
I'm ready. I just didn't know you wanted me to talk.
Man.
It was.
We're going to have a pre-production meeting off air and discuss a few things. But anyway,
Yeah,
we can move on.
today, where we started a half hour early. Like I was good to start a half hour early. Just had a few kid things going on, but I'm good now. But
you're not shit. He is.
Okay. So one other thing I'll say about like PLD, and then something else we get in field units is our land duty allowance, and that's a point system.
Yeah.
LDA. So like the more time you spend in a field unit, the more points you have, and the more points you have. I think it maxes out at somewhere close to like $800 a month, and it's like minimum is like $300 a month. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it is a point. When you get posted, so for me, so I was in Edmonton. So I was in like 3 PCLI. I was collecting like $684 a month for post-living differential. I was somewhere in a higher tier for land duty allowance. I want to say I was at like $690 or $700 around there for almost maxed out for field allowance if I wasn't maxed out. And I also collected paratroop allowance, which was an additional $300 a month. So let's add that up. It's like 7,700, so 1,400 plus 300. We're looking at so $1,700 a month in taxable allowances I was getting in the third.
I only got Cas Para, and that was like $50 a jump or something.
$50 a jump, and that would max out at 5 jumps at $250. So I'm getting $1,700 a month in taxable allowances on top of my salary. Now, so that's pretty significant. When I got posted to Gagetown, New Brunswick, all of those things went away.
And you were at the school.
Because I went to the school. It wasn't even the fact that I was at the school. Well, yes, I was at the school, so I lost a few things. So, but if I had like the guys in 2RCR, the 2nd Battalion Royal Canadian Regiment, or any of the other like field units there, they get their land duty allowance, but they do not get post living differential, and they certainly don't get paratroop allowance because they're not that cool. So airborne. So I lost all that. And on top of that, then my wife, she was working part-time here in Edmonton. We lost that. I took like my household took like a 33% pay cut to move across the country.
Just to go there. Yeah.
Just to go there. And I'm telling you, like, cost of living out east. Anybody who likes to think that like it's cheaper to live out east, you're living in a fucking.
I'm going to get to this because
like you're really not. But,
so this fucking general fucking who I don't know what her name is. She was the spokesperson. She's like the fucking allowances officer or something for the military. I don't track a lot of military titles and shit anymore because I've been out for like fucking 12 years or whatever. 10 years. Anyways, they have a new thing. Now, here's the thing before we get into this. I'm going to let you guys launch. The fucking article in the paper, and sorry I didn't load it into the deck, says the Canadian Armed Forces is going to save $30 million with this new Canadian Forces Housing Allowance, whatever the fuck it is, CFHA, new acronym. Okay, before we get into the nuts and bolts, and I know Jen's on here and it affects her. I know it affects you, and we're going to get to that. Anytime the government says it's going to save fucking money, where do you think it comes from? Yeah. It comes out of someone's pocket, and it's not theirs. It's fucking yours.
Yeah.
So this new allowance, and I'll let you explain how it works because you're in, and you know it better than I do.
Yeah. Well, it's quite convoluted. I mean, I'm still kind of trying to wrap my mind around it, but I think here in Alberta, we're essentially going to lose it to some degree. But it's
Well,
also now
it's
it's attached more to
based
your
on
rank.
your rank, isn't it?
It is based on your rank. So,
So
like a private
just hang on, I'll let
soldier.
you get into the details. Basically, it's good for new troops coming in, privates and corporals, lower ranked troops. It's tied to their pay. Doesn't matter where the fuck they live.
Yeah.
This one's supposed to tie into cost of living.
It does.
Which that fucking stupid bitch said, oh, the cost of living in Canada is relatively the same everywhere you go. That's what she said. It's right in the paper. I'm going, are you fucking kidding me? No, it's not.
Chris,
Although they buy gas on Vancouver Island to see what it costs in Toronto, I was just there, man. It's not the same.
No, I think again,
for senior ranks, for higher guys, senior NCOs and senior ranking officers, they basically get nothing. Like when Jen fucking calculated out, she gets fuck all. Yeah. So she loses her PLD because of her rank, and she gets spec pay and all that shit. You as a warrant officer would probably fucking gonna get nothing. Yeah. So they're saving 30 million. Now, when the Canadian Armed Forces is trying to recruit and retain, recruiting and retention is always coupled together as one term, but they're not. They're completely two different fucking things. So it's great for recruiting and it's great for the new guy, but how are you retaining people? Now, here's something we were talking about. Actually, you brought this up. What's the incentive to get promoted if you're going to lose money? So how are you going to fucking strive for career excellence and try to get promoted if they're going to take money out of your pocket because you're moving up?
Yeah. And Jennifer B just kind of said something I was going to say, and I'll just read what she wrote. It says your pay dictates your level. Level corresponds to your housing incentive, and it decreases every year until it nils out. And it nils out at 7 years. And if you're in one location, so if you get posted to Edmonton, when you hit year 7 in Edmonton, you have, or anywhere for that matter, or Esquimalt or Ottawa, when you hit year 7, you no longer have, so it decreases every year.
How fucking nice of them.
Yeah.
They saved $30 million. Good job.
Now they're trying to offset that by saying they're giving us I believe it's a 10% pay raise. So now
you always get a pay raise. The shit's retro to fucking whenever, right? Yeah. Like, don't fucking give me that bullshit.
So what they're trying to say is that the pay raise that we're the 10% pay raise will cover off essentially the 10% pay cut that we're getting. Now, by the numbers, for me as a warrant officer who's like maxed out in pay incentives,
so you're IPC4, yep.
When it's all said and done, I lose $68 a month. Now, someone might be saying, "Whoa, it's only $68 a month." I'm like, cool, but don't tell me I'm getting a fucking pay raise, or don't tell me my pay is getting cut. Whether it's being cut by $6,000 a month or 6 cents a month, it's still a pay cut. I don't give a shit.
Here's the
pay question. Cut is a pay cut. It's not a pay raise.
Here's the question: were you going to get a fucking pay raise anyway? Yeah. You're going to get a pay raise anyway.
Yeah.
So don't separate the pay raise. We always got pay raises. And sometimes when we didn't get them for a few years, you got this fucking big bump that was because it's what's this pay raise retro to?
I think it's like 2020 or 2021. I can't remember exactly.
Right. So you're finally getting a pay raise 2-3 years later.
Yeah. And that pay raise actually does not keep up with the current rate of inflation.
Exactly. So they're fucking blowing smoke up your ass to say, well, we're going to give you this fucking pay raise. But we're taking away this. So, right, like, outstanding. Good job. Doesn't matter. We can argue the math on this to the end of time.
But at the end of the day,
if you say the government's going to save $30 million, it's coming out of somebody's fucking pocket. And in this case, it's coming out of the pocket of the troops. And I don't give a shit if you're a general or a private. It's coming out of your fucking pocket.
Yeah. And I actually had an interesting conversation. I think it was back in 2020 or 2019. I was the attaché for the Canadian Armed Forces Chief Warrant Officer. He was visiting Gagetown at the time. And it was myself, and we had a driver that was a corporal. And he was kind of talking about PLD being kind of reworked. And essentially being a Patricia, being from out west, as you know, in classic Canadian fashion, like Western Canada is going to get hosed here,
Yeah,
that's just how it always goes. The guys who get affected by it the most are, for some reason, west of Ontario. And he tries to say, he goes, well, you were told all these things are allowances and not to count on them. And I said, listen, sir, I was like, whatever you need to tell yourself to sleep at night. I was like, but at the end of the day, you're taking money out of soldiers' pockets. I was like, I don't give a shit if it's an allowance. I don't give a shit what it is. I was like,
yeah,
taking money out of soldiers' pockets.
No,
taking
their
money
logic is fucked because what?
if money talks and bullshit walks, people are leaving.
I know. Another thing that she said was, well, you know, when you're in those senior ranks, you have more money. Yeah, okay. When I was like fucking 19 and I was a private in the Army, was a gunner, I made fucking no money. And I lived in a house with a bunch of other guys that made no money. We all lived together. I lived in the shacks, and then I lived in apartments and, whatever you do. And as you progress and get older, leaving your promotions out of this, it's called fucking life. You might meet somebody, you might get married, you might have kids, and then you buy your first home, you get posted, you buy another home. Okay? You're expected to get fucking compensated as you move up the ranks and get older, but your personal cost of living to raise your kids, to buy your house goes up. So don't fucking tell me that, oh, well, you make more money, so you don't need this money. It's not, the fucking logic boggles the mind. It's like you're just telling them to fuck off because you're going to save 30 million bucks and trying to rationalize it with complete fucking bullshit. Like, I'm not buying it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not in. I'm glad I'm not in because this shit would just push me through the roof. Not as much as our last topic is going to push you through the roof, but we're going to get there.
I don't know. I might push everybody through the fucking roof.
But
no, like I agree. When the first headline that the media puts out about it is they're saving $30 million, I'm like, all right, like where is that money coming from? Moreover, in the budget, in the one thing they said in the budget is they want all departments in the federal government to cut by 3%.
3%, yeah, including.
So they said D&D, Department of National Defense, is going to cut by 3%, but it's not going to affect the Canadian Armed Forces.
It's not going to affect the Canadian Armed Forces. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Of course,
1 + 1, because we're down is up is down. You know, black is white, white is black. It's crazy. 1 + 1 is 3. It doesn't. None of it makes sense. Yeah, like I wake up in the morning, I feel like I'm taking fucking crazy pills.
Well, you should be.
Yeah.
All right. This is the sensitive part of this conversation. For those of you watching or listening, I've thought about this all day. I have to touch on it. And I'm going to start with...
Hey, Chris, can I end that last topic? Can I end it on a little bit of a positive note?
Fuck, please do.
Yeah, so I guess the only thing that I can see coming positive out of it is, so we lose PLD, and what they're telling us is that our new pay raise will bring us up. Now, I'll be making $68 less a month. The thing is that now where it's salary and it's not allowances, because allowances were never pensionable.
Oh,
so my base salary. So like if you look in the pay scales, I think for a warrant officer, it's like, I mean, rough numbers here, it's like $80,000 a year for like a maxed out warrant officer, like no specialty trades or none of that bullshit. $80,000 a year. When you throw in like my allowances on top of that, I was closer to 90, right? But pensionable was only 80. So now it's almost like I'll have a little bit more, I'll have more pensionable money. So in the extreme long range, it could be better. Maybe that's why they did it, to help officers pad their pensions more. I don't fucking know. Which kind of makes sense. So, and I think this is something that actually kind of came out of, it got generated out of CanSoftCom, because those guys as a sergeant, they're making like $65,000 a year, but realistically, they're making $150,000 a year, but their pension is based off their base salary. So guys were getting fucking angry when they were getting out of the Army, because it's almost like they were getting fucking peanuts.
Yeah, I could see that, right? So
there, I guess there's the silver lining, I guess. But you're still not keeping up with the rate of inflation, and guys are still taking pay cuts to some degree. And like you said, when you got allowances that are decreasing annually, like it just doesn't. It doesn't brief well.
Hey, we can do math all day. At the end of the day, the government is going to save 30 million bucks.
Yeah.
And what that means is they're taking it out of the fucking pockets of the men and women that serve the Canadian Armed Forces, serve this country, to defend this country. Yeah. Fucking golf clap for them.
And we can all and the Prime Minister gave himself a $10,200 a year raise. Just saying.
Good. here's what he gets. The big fuck you, buddy. Let's move on. All right. So I have to address this. Normally I avoid conversations and topics like this, but they tie in. That was not it. Not doing well here. Okay, this week. Oh, we're going to come back to that. My main man, Kid Rock.
Love him.
I know. Like you're going to be on one side of this. I'm going to be on the middle side of this. I'm a big Kid Rock fan. Most of you guys know that. He posted a video on social media on Monday, shooting up a bunch of Bud Light. We'll get to the why in a second. I have no problem with him shooting up Bud Light because it's fucking junk. There I said it. Here comes the fucking chatters are coming back now, man. Okay. So what happened was, I gotta turn this off. Anheuser-Busch promoted or teamed up with some transgender trans person.
Yes, there you go.
I don't know who the fucking name is. I don't give a shit because I don't track that stuff, which is an important part of this conversation before I get attacked. And all these fucking rednecks are losing their shit in the States, and they're getting rid of their Budweiser and their Bud Light. Kid Rock, love his music, but sometimes, man, it's like fucking really, like what? Okay, so now we're into this whole LB. Help me out, LBG,
LGBTQ.
You actually know what it is?
The alphabet people. Yeah, anyway, carry on.
Yeah, they own half the fucking alphabet.
They own half the alphabet. Yeah, carry on.
Lesbian, bisexual.
Anyway, it doesn't even matter. The alphabet people. Fuck them.
Trans, queer. I never understood the queer people. Like, I know people that are lesbians. I know people that are gay. I know people that are bi. Actually, I got my buddy, Gay Doug. I think he's bi because when he gets loaded at parties, he hits on everybody's old lady. But I only know a couple trans people. He used to be a Patricia, but I won't name him.
Fucking excellent officer, amazing officer.
He was actually.
Yeah, excellent.
Good for him.
I had him as a company commander.
Good for him.
Very competent officer.
Fucking good. He was a good dude. He was the officer area when I worked for him.
Yeah,
so he's a she, and I don't give a fuck. Like, let them
neither
do
I.
What the fuck they want to be.
Yeah, neither do I.
Right? I don't want it jammed down my throat.
Neither do I.
I'm not interested in that. I don't give a fuck if you're LGBTQT, whatever. The rest of it, I don't care. I'm not phobic. It doesn't scare me. I don't give a fuck. So when he comes out and does some shit like that, Kid Rock, it's like, what the fuck are you doing, man? With his MAGA hat on. I'm like, oh my God. So now, like, okay, I got a Kid Rock concert shirt, a Kid Rock fucking hoodie, and I'm gonna wear it around, and people are gonna shit on me. I'm like,
give it to me, Chris. I'll wear it with fucking pride.
Well, I'll wear it. I don't give a fuck. But on that note, this is something we talked about the other day, and you guys are gonna fucking really enjoy this. And this is we're gonna close this on a positive note. Don't get me wrong here.
All right.
This tweet came out. I don't know who the fuck this is. Sandra G on Twitter. So this is one field ambulance at Canadian Forces Base Edmonton, which is, it's also the first unit to fly the pride flag. This I know the guy that did it, openly gay guy. That's not the point. For those of you listening and can't read this, there's a tweet and it's a picture of, out front of one field am, and it's got their flag and it's got the trans flag, and the tweet reads, "This is the Canadian Forces Base Edmonton today. They took down the Canadian flag." Is it like Trans Week or Trans Day or some fucking thing? I don't know.
It seems like every day is Trans Day, Chris. Who the fuck knows?
I don't know. Canadian flag and put up the trans flag. How is this allowed? I think she meant allowed. Whatever. We have one flag. Okay, here's why I have a fucking problem with this. I don't give a fuck. Just so we caveated all this fucking shit with I don't give a fuck if you're any of half the alphabet that the community owns. It's the only fucking thing that flies on a base if you stick with tradition and customs and not this wokeism and inclusivism, which is going to destroy the fucking military, in my opinion,
Currently destroying
is
it.
the Canadian fucking flag, the unit flag, the brigade flag. I don't know if this is 3 Div have a flag. I don't fucking know. LFWA used to, whatever. That's it. Not everybody in his fucking dog and what flag they want to put up. I'll give you a good example. I would have loved to have flown that fucking flag out in front of fucking 1 CER. But do you think they're going to fly that flag? Nope. Don't
No,
think so.
because it's not an authorized flag.
Authorized flag. What the fuck does that mean? Authorized flag in the fucking government is not whatever the fucking flavor of the month is. It needs to stay in alignment with tradition and history. And I know everybody on the left's going to shit on me. No, we need to fucking change, bro. We need to send the message out. Like, the fuck we do.
Well, Chris, like, so just kind of like back to like my scenario, like you said, me and you will disagree on some stuff, but like I essentially am getting, I was treated the way I was treated because I chose not to get vaccinated. And you said I would have charged your ass. And I'm like, and I agreed with you. I'm like, because those are rules. We have rules and regulations which govern everything in the Army or the military, Canadian Armed Forces for that matter, along with authorized flagpoles and authorized fucking flags. So either A, take that flag the fuck down or change the goddamn rules.
Well, okay, thank you. You are 100% correct. And I don't give a fuck.
Neither do I. But I'm an NCO. I deal in rules and regulations, black and white.
If somebody's going to listen to this or is going to watch this and they're going to go, fuck you, you redneck fucking Alberta white guy with short hair and camel ball hat.
Good.
You're phobic. I'm like, I just said I'm not fucking phobic. It has nothing to do with that. No. I don't give a fuck what flag it is, as long as it's the fucking Canada flag. Okay? The maple leaf, maybe you've seen it or heard of it. Swapping flags out on bases to recognize fucking anything other than what uniformity in the military's history, customs, and tradition is fucking wrong. And in this case, it happened to be the trans flag. Now, every other fucking group that has something they want to fucking put up there, you're going to be whipping out flags all fucking day at each different unit. This is where you're dismantling a system and a system. You want to be inclusive? Yeah, the military is very fucking inclusive. You're all fucking equally worthless. Cut your fucking hair. Shut the fuck up. Do what you're told. Go kill bad guys in the name of fucking, of national defense and carry on.
Yeah.
And then go to the mess and have a goddamn beer and that's fucking it. It's that easy. Sorry, I'm getting a little loud.
Yeah.
So,
no,
that pissed me off. It has nothing to do with the trans community. Nothing. Zero. It has to do with that's fucking bullshit. It could have been, the fucking, who's those people that dress up like furry animals and fuck each other? The Furbies? Is that right?
Something like that.
Could have been their fucking flag or whatever. It could have been whoever, man. It's just fucking not right. It's not cool. Let's see what Danielle.
Like, you couldn't even take you couldn't even take your infantry company, put it on that goddamn flagpole for Christ's sake, for like the A company and the 1st Battalion of Red Devils. Like, they can just go out and just throw up a Red Devils flag and be like, yeah, it's A company day. Like, no, like, you can't do that. It's not authorized. So, like I said, like you, Chris, I'm a rules and regulations guy. And if you're in contravention or like either, and I'm not afraid to change, as in the sense, if they change the rules and they make it an authorized flag, well, so fucking be it. I may disagree with it personally, but I'm not gonna hoot and holler about it because it's an authorized flag.
Oh no! If they say, if you show me the fucking Derek, he might know. What's the manual of fucking flags? What's that in?
I used to know. I can't remember now because I actually looked it up.
Is it Vol 1, like admin? Maybe it's in there. I don't know. Anyways,
yeah. I did it on my DP4.
There's a thing that shows the authorized flag somewhere. I don't know which fucking book it is. Derek might know. And you just can't throw up random shit because some guy goes to the base commander and goes, well, I'm gay or I'm queer or I'm trans or I'm this or I'm fucking I got a gambling problem, so we're going to put up the anti-gambling flag or some fucking thing. You'd be rocking a new flag every fucking week, man. That's absolutely not cool. Like, keep your personal social shit or your personal crusade off the fucking base. It's your place of work. You serve the country of Canada. You work for the Canadian Armed Forces. You work for the Army or land staff. The Army has divisions, which is a fucking joke. But anyway, and within those divisions are brigades, and within those brigades are units, and they all have their flags. And the flagpoles have all that shit in order in front of base headquarters or whatever. Not the SpongeBob fucking Awareness Month flag. That's what the fuck, man. Anyway, I've said my bit. See what Danielle says. She seems to be pretty fucking. Sorry, I'm yapping and you got stuck on screen.
I think she's talking about the back to Kid Rock and the Bud Light thing. I believe the person's last name, the transgender.
Oh, Danielle, thank you. Yeah,
yeah, Derek. I think it's Derek Mulvaney. I think Mulvaney's the last name of this individual.
Let him, her do whatever the fuck they want. Oh, there's something I'm going to touch on here in a second. That I do hate. Do whatever the fuck they want. And
but like you said, Chris, this is one of these things that should be jammed down people's throats. Point in case, like all the NHL teams wearing pride jerseys. So the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Maple Leafs came out and said they're not doing it. Chicago Blackhawks said they're not doing it, and individuals like goaltender for the San Jose Sharks, Derek Reimer, said he's not doing it.
I know, but just do it for the right reasons. Don't be phobic about it. Just say fuck that. This is not. We're a sport. We should we be doing this?
It's just like the Army. Like we're the insurance policy for the our foreign policy.
Look, man, I'm not in the fucking NHL, so I can stay in my lane and say this is bullshit when it comes to the military. You could be,
but at the same time,
all of those things. The LGBT. I still don't know what a queer is. Like somebody fucking DM me later. I have some fruity fuckers that aren't gay. Are they queer? Whatever, doesn't matter. Keep that. That shit doesn't belong there. All right, it just doesn't belong there in my mind. That's an opinion. If the majority of the fucking country thinks otherwise, and the government of Canada tells the Canadian Armed Forces through the Department of National Defense, here's a list of fucking 62,000 fucking individual flags you can fly on any given day. Fucking fine, done. I take direction. Carry on. Well, I don't take.
I think though what we're starting to see though is, Chris, is that we've been seeing a lot of this shit kind of being jammed down our fucking throats a lot. And I guarantee you, based on a few things, like when James Reimer said he wasn't going to do that, guess what happened the next day? James Reimer jerseys across North America fucking sold out. And I guarantee you, Kid Rock's album sales. And now I'm not saying for sure, but the world we live in is a marketplace of good and bad ideas. And we will see if this positively or negatively affects Kid Rock. And I have a sneaky suspicion that he will benefit from this, and his record sales will actually increase, and he'll become more popular.
When he's got bank, he doesn't give a fuck. His family's got money.
No, Richie's dead. It's not about money. But what I'm saying is that in a marketplace of good and bad ideas, if saying is if most people disagree with what Kid Rock is saying, he will lose money over it. What I am saying is that I don't think that he's going to lose any money. As a matter of fact, I think his stock will increase.
Tara, you're done.
We've seen it with James. We've seen it happen with like James Reimer. You've seen it with Chicago Blackhawks. Now Toronto Maple Leafs. People that are standing up and being like, you know what? Like, you do you, but fuck you. I'm doing whatever I want. Also, lucky for the United States of America, freedom of speech is absolute. You don't got to like what they have to say, but it's his goddamn God-given right to say it.
I almost thought we had that here, but apparently I'm wrong.
No, we don't.
That Bill C111, whatever it was, that fucking new internet bill. Anyway, we're not talking about that. Last bit on this. We got to wrap this shit up because I got a thing to go to.
Sure.
Here's what I don't like about with all this inclusive thing. So there's a lot of fucking places now, starting with schools and shit. We talked about this before with these unigender fucking washrooms, right? Because nobody knows what their own sex is anymore, apparently.
No, Chris, nobody knows what their gender is. Gender and sex are two completely different things, my friend.
Yeah.
Gender is made up fucking fairy dust. Sex is two. You're male or you're female. Full stop.
All right, let's not confuse the issue. I don't like these places. There's a bar in Edmonton on Jasper Avenue called Soho. It's a fucking dope spot. They get great New York style food, hence the name. They get a lot of blues bands in there. They got a lot of wicked music in there. But they got this fucking gender neutral shitters, right? Now, I don't agree with that. I'm going to tell you why. Especially for the women out there. You got some creepy fucker on the dance floor, or you're having a bad date. Women go hide in the shitter. They grab their friend because they always go in pairs for some reason. I don't know. And that's a safe space they can go and like, some creepy fucking dick will not 9 times out of 10 follow them in there. Now you got these cross-pollinated fucking bathrooms. I just think that's risky. I don't think it's a good idea. And most of my female friends agree with that. I think it's a fucking stupid idea in a world of continuously evolving stupid fucking ideas. And that's not the best. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
don't give a fuck because you're not a chick, man.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But like, yeah, like I know I agree with you. Like, sure, like if what I'm saying is that if the majority of women want their own bathroom, then absolutely, let's give it to them.
You'll give a fuck when your daughter is fucking 18.
No, and I agree with you. But the world that we're living in, fucking, I feel bad. I feel horrible, really bad for women. Actually, in the world today, women are like the traditional woman's losing harder than anybody. I mean, think about it. I mean, the patriarchy. I mean, men. The battle of the sexes is over. Boys, we won. The white man won. Unfortunately, I mean, Kate was a woman for 1 year. 1 year. We mastered it. Like, it's ridiculous, right? Moreover, like
I'm never gonna get sponsors, man.
There was you got these transgender, used to be men, now they're women competing in women's sports, just crushing it. Like
how fucking fair is that in sports?
Yeah, there was an NCAA
fucking women's basketball, and there's this jacked fucking 6'7"
because little do people know, like in the United States in like late 60s, early 70s, they passed what was called Title IX or Title VII, I believe. And what it was is because there was sports for males, for teenagers and things like that, so they could get sponsored to go to or get scholarships. But there was never anything like that for women. And so now, back in the late 60s, early 70s, they passed, I believe it was Title IX, so that way women were, they had the same opportunities that men had, so that they could get sponsorship for professional sport world, for college ball and things like that. But now we're taking it all away. So now, like my daughter, she has to compete with a biological male, a guy who was ranked 200th in the world as a swimmer, just crushed it. And he's like the #1 woman swimmer in NCAA. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, the people that are losing here are women, right?
Yeah.
It's absolutely, it's hilarious. I mean, I think it's terrible, but I mean, the fact that we're championing this, it goes along with, like, why do you have male and female bathrooms? Same thing.
I know it's worked well for like fucking hundreds of years or whatever, when the bathroom was fucking invented, when we stopped shitting outside the cave. I don't know. Anyway, that's the direction we're going in. There's some new shit coming up. We didn't get to it this week. We got to wrap this bitch up.
Cool.
I want to talk about my man, DJ Craig G from Revolution Radio Canada. I'll get into that next week because I'm out of time. So thank you guys for tuning in. Mr. Morgan Warren, thank you very much, bro. Appreciate that. I'm going to rattle off some sponsors here. Thanks, guys, for watching and putting up with some technical bullshit that we had to deal with. And we're going to do this again next week. I want to thank my sponsors. First and foremost, my newest sponsor, the Veteran Farmer, Cannabis Education. These guys do more than that. The Veteran Farmer, you saw an interview with Lloyd. Good staff down there. They help me out with all my Veterans Affairs shit. They walk you through the whole process of managing your transition, or even if you're in the military, dealing with fucking shit and transitioning out with your Veterans Affairs claims. And getting you hooked up with medical cannabis if that's a thing that you're into. Veteran Farmer Kid people. My main man Jeff None and his good friends down at Lakeside Farmstead and his family. Lakeside Farmstead, local to Edmonton. None beef is the best, trust me. And last but not least, my main man Positive Mike. Positive Mike's Brewing. You can get the gear, but you still can't get the beer. And I'm out of beer. And Mike, I got a thing of this Getting Sauce steak rub for you. So let's plug that shit too. Mr. Ryan Lindley, the Getting Sauce podcast. Here's a steak rub. If you DM Ryan, maybe he'll hook you up. He's selling them at an affordable price because he gave a bunch away last weekend. Get a hold of Ryan Lindley. He'll hook you up. And of course, the good folks at Crier Media, the network, the people that make all this happen behind the scenes. Lots of good pods on Crier Media, Canada's largest digital source for news, sports, awesome podcasts, continuously growing. We got more people that are going to be on there. Tara, as soon as you say you like Kid Rock, I'm going to hook you up with Rook. We'll get you on. Yeah, so that's that. Check out criermedia.co. And I got to get the fuck out of here. So love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And we'll do this again in a week. And I'm out.